All right, welcome back, Prospect Live viewers, to another 2020 MLB Draft Team Preview. Joining me today from Prospects Live is our very own Joe Doyle. Joe, welcome to the show. We're going to be breaking down the Texas Rangers today. Very interesting team. I feel like I've heard 30 different names mentioned and mocked to this particular organization at pick 14. Let's pull up the graphic and just talk very briefly about their previous draft history. Of course, Josh Young, third baseman out of Texas Tech last year. They also went to another Texas third baseman within the Big 12 with Davis Wetzel a little bit later in the draft. Paired those guys up. Cole Winn, big prep arm, previous draft in 2018 at 15. And then in 2017, they doubled up with a couple of talented prep players that have not panned out so far, one being Bubba Thompson at 26 and Chris Cease at 29. Joe, what direction do you see the Rangers going in this season? Do you see them going back to the college market, or are they going to be more traditional from what they've done previously and be very prep heavy at the beginning, the top of the draft?
Yeah, they're probably the biggest question mark in the first 15 picks is what direction these guys are going to go. You're right. They've been connected to 15, 20 names. You could go, if you go to the college route, I think the perfect fit is Heston Kjerstad. I don't know if Heston Kjerstad is going to fall that far, but I really like the fit in Texas with Heston Kjerstad, especially in their new, if you want to call it reimagined competition window here that they've got. But the list is endless. Jared Kelly, I think, would be a great fit. He's a local kid, big arm. Kind of fits the prep ranking that they've always had. I think Austin Hendricks, big power, would fit in Texas. Yeah. Patrick Bailey would be a good fit because it's kind of hard to nail Patrick Bailey down to any specific location right now. If I'm Texas, I think the guy that I'm looking at is Nick Bitsko. He's a prep arm. They've not been afraid to go after prep arms. Big, advanced, right-handed stuff, mid to upper 90s fastball, advanced curveball, changeup that's still getting there. He's one of my favorite prep arms in the class, and I think he'd be a good fit for, as far as ceiling goes with that 14th pick. I don't know whether or not they're scared off by Thompson and Cease and even Cole Winn to a lesser degree, but I think you got to take another shot in the prep ranks with Nick Bitsko.
Yeah, and they've had some other interesting picks. Hans Kraus a few years ago from that prep rank, another big, talented arm. Bitsko wouldn't shock me. Neither would Refugio righty, as you mentioned. Jared Kelly, same hometown as Rangers legend Nolan Ryan. Throw that out there. And they do seem to like to stay in state. Any chance maybe they could take a look at a player like Clayton Beeter? I know that Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs had actually mentioned they could possibly consider themselves a contender and might be looking for an arm they feel they could sort of streamline to the bullpen here in 2020. Do you think that's a possible at 14, or is that sort of a long shot rumor?
I don't think that's the wrong decision. I think Clayton Beeter would be a great arm to throw into your bullpen right away. But if you're in that frame of thinking, the arm that I would look at would be Garrett Crochet. I don't know if Garrett Crochet is going to be there at 14, but to me, from my eyes, Garrett Crochet is a better mix of immediate bullpen impact right now and still the potential for long-term, high value. The thing about Clayton Beeter is I'm more convinced that he is a reliever than I am Garrett Crochet. But I still do think Garrett Crochet is a reliever as well. But hey, if they think 2020 is the year that they're going to make a splash and go after it, I think either one of those two arms makes a lot of sense as a fireman shutdown at the end of the game bullpen type arm.
Well, they got Corey Kluber and Lance Lynn, so they're obviously a contender now.
Mike Minor.
But all joking aside, they've actually had pretty good pitching, and adding Kluber, if healthy, to that rotation could be interesting. So some bullpen pieces kind of might make some sense, just maybe not at 14 where there's so much talent on the board. So I'm going to put the hypothetical out to you. I do it all the time. You're the GM, Joe. What direction do you go? What player are you really hoping for if you're a Rangers fan or a hypothetical GM in this situation?
So perfect situation for me is Heston Kjerstad. I don't know what it is about Heston Kjerstad. I just think I think the profile fits. I think the swing really fits. I think he's the type of guy that you plug in 2021 possibly as an impact player for Texas. Now, if he's gone and he's off the board earlier than we think, I think Nick Bitsko is the guy. And the only reason I have Bitsko over Kelly in this situation, even though Kelly is the local product, is I think Bitsko has proven that he can spin a baseball. And the Rapsodo readings for Nick Bitsko are out of this world. Granted, they're bullpens, but I just see a higher ceiling with that arm than I do with Jared Kelly. And so that's where I would go. I would go Kjerstad first. But Bitsko would be second pick. And also, last little thing, Heston Kjerstad might afford you the ability to go a little bit bigger with your next pick. I don't know if you're going to get that with Bitsko at 14.
Really interesting points that you made there. And I got to tell you, in my head immediately, I thought about Kjerstad, Joey Gallo in the same lineup, and just the amount of raw, sheer power you would see, not only in game. That might be one of the more fun batting practices to watch if you had those two guys in the cage back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's my own baseball nerd brain. Joe, thanks for joining me. That was the 2020 MLB Draft Texas Rangers team preview. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget to join us on draft night. We're going to be live streaming during the draft, pick by pick analysis through the first round and CB round A. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with another.